I'd like to preface my comments by saying I am very concerned for the future of this city. If I wasn't, I would not be here. Oakville, Trafalgar Memorial Hospital opened last year, a 1.6 million square foot facility the same size as proposed for Windsor, Essex. It cost $2 billion to build, and the 30-year contract value is $2.7 billion. The town of Oakville provided $130 million at the time of substantial completion. The hospital, Halton Healthcare Services, put in $270 million, and a capital campaign raised a further $60 million. It required $460 million local dollars to build that hospital. While the provincial government pays for the planning and design and 90% of the eligible construction costs, the hospital must pay for all of the non-essential construction costs and all of the clinical equipment and furnishings. The proposed Windsor Essex hospital system has many more components than just a single acute care hospital. Based on the price of the new Oakville hospital, their estimate seems low. Will our hospital come back to us later and ask taxpayers for more money? How much money will the hospital have to raise from its community partners and donors? And will the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care even approve this proposal? There will be other costs that will come from taxpayers' pockets too, like the $250 million on new infrastructure to make the proposed site even viable. Provincial policy and even our own official plan prescribe smart growth and urban intensification. That is, to promote cost-effective development patterns and minimize land consumption and servicing costs. Attempts have been made to justify this expense because the land south of the airport is part of the city's 20-year plan. When those lands were annexed, the region was enjoying above-average growth and our manufacturing economy was sound. The justification to expand the city no longer holds, as the Ministry of Finance's most recent population projections show the Essex area as a region of little future growth, and the Erie-St. Clair-Lynn even predicts a population decrease across its jurisdiction. Furthermore, Windsor is rife with vacant and underutilized land. There are over 500 documented sites. 4 of them were large enough to be considered by the Hospital Site Selection Committee. By opening up the annexed area with our current surplus of developable land, we will only make matters worse. What will that cost taxpayers? The proposed ex-urban site will mean Transit Windsor will have to expand current routes to provide service. What will that cost? Fire, policing, and EMS tasking must be considered, and these costs will likely rise too. In Niagara region, the annual land ambulance budget had to increase by $3 million each year once local ERs were converted to urgent care centers. To recap, the hospital is asking for $200 million from regional taxpayers, but we have no idea if their estimate is valid, nor if they will have to raise more money for costs not covered by the province. There are the costs to Windsor taxpayers to make the proposed ex-urban site viable, $250 million for infrastructure, an unknown amount to expand transit service, more unknowns for fire, police, and ambulance servicing. Meanwhile, the city has an infrastructure maintenance deficit of over $300 million, and we continue to service hundreds of vacant properties. The cost to this city will be much greater than the $108 million that you are voting on tonight. Council has made a commitment to raise money for this project. However, at this time, I ask you to defer approving the levy until a valid estimate of the proposed hospital cost is provided, and all other costs to the city and county taxpayers are analyzed and presented to give a clear picture of the full financial impact of this proposal before we collect one extra tax dollar. I have no dispute with building better health care, but we must find a smarter, more sustainable way to do it. Thank you for your consideration of this matter.